I'm about to show you how to turn this engine cover into a forged carbon fiber cover. First step is just taking it off. Then you gotta make sure to take off the badge so that, you don't get it covered in carbon fiber. The third step is crucial. We're gonna clean it with some water and soap and then sand it with some sandpaper. Loud noises! Step 3.5, clean it with some rubbing alcohol or else nothing will stick to the stuff. Step 3.75, make sure to mask everywhere you don't want the carbon fiber to be. Step 4, mix the resin with the hardener, 50-50 volumetric. It depends on the size of your panel. I'm doing 20 milliliters of each. Bonus tip, make sure to mix it for at least 30 seconds. I mixed in some black pigment just so that the base color is black. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. Step 5, pour the base resin on there. Make sure to spread it everywhere. Step 6, grab a handful of this carbon fiber and sprinkle it all over the cover. Now that we have it spread out all over the piece, it's time for step 7, mixing up some new clear resin. We're gonna drizzle it all over this piece, or at least get a good amount over most of it. Step 7.5, we're gonna use this weird little rolly tool to just mix in the resin to the carbon fiber. I know it looks a little muddy right now, but trust the process. Now that it's covered, it's time for step 8, some peel ply. Let's put that on top. Step 8, cover it with some peel ply and make sure it has mostly full contact. Step 9, put in a vacuum seal bag and let it rest overnight for at least 24 hours. Step 10 is gonna be removing this piece from the plastic bag. And now we have the peel ply that actually became transparent. Step 11 is carefully removing the peel ply. Now that it's peeled completely, we're gonna move to step 13, which is cleaning up all the edges and sanding this whole piece as flat as we can. Now that it's sanded flat, it's time for step 14, which is pour some more clear resin on it. And we're gonna use a brush to spread it evenly all over the surface. Mega pro tip, use a torch to get rid of all the little bubbles on top. We just have to wait 2 hours for this to cure a tiny bit to put a second layer on it. All right, it's been a whole 2 hours. And for step 15, we're gonna put on a thicker coat than the last one. Now that it's laid there and it's curing for the next 24 hours, and I have no control over space and time, so I can't rush anything in this process. Now that it's nice and glossy, it's time for a step I don't even know, where we're gonna be sanding it with some fine sandpaper. Now that it's sanded and looks rougher than Jake Paul's gonna be after the Mayweather fight, it's time for step who's even counting, where we're gonna use rubbing alcohol to get rid of all this dust. Now for step 18, let's pour some of this mixed resin on top. And using a paintbrush like Bob Ross, we're gonna make sure we get full coverage of this entire piece. Call me Picasso because that looks splendid. Once again, we need to wait 24 hours for this to cure. Next step, I need to move my car out of the garage. Now that the resin is dry, we are gonna wet sand. Now that it's sanded and it looks ashier than your elbows, it's time to clean it with some isopropyl alcohol. It is now time to clear coat this thing with the best of the best 2K Clear from Spray Max. Mega pro tip, use a mask when you use this. You don't want to do it without a mask. Here goes the first coat. All right, and that's coat 5. Be right back. It is now the next day and it is all done. It is time to grab and we're gonna put the emblem back on. That's better. All right, time to put it on there. Look at how good that looks. If you want to see the whole process, check out my latest YouTube video.